had the script, and he was there with us, and he said to the script writer, Coach Fran doesn't need a script. Let him just wing it. So I had to come up with my own, dialogue. And here you go. You ready? Can I give it to you?
Yeah, let's hear it. I want to hear it. Let's go.
We've been watching Kermit Wilkes since he was in AAU. We knew he was going to be an NBA player. But this guy, Bo Cruz, I thought I knew every player on the planet, and I never heard of this guy.
Fredette for the lead. Yes! Fredette with the three. Bullseye! What a shot by Fredette!
The boy gave us more trays than
He's got his J back, folks, and the eye of the tiger.
You're tuned in to Built from the Logo with Jimmer Fredette.
Jimmer Mania continues right into 2026. I am Spencer Linton. He is the great Jimmer Fredette, and we are Built from the Logo. Always nice to have all of you with us for our deep range conversations about life inside and well beyond the world of sports. Jimmer, have you figured out how to use your digital tickets yet?
You know what, Spence? I'm sick and tired of this, all right? Sick and tired of this gibberish we got. I mean, I did a great job getting those tickets out to everyone. I just forgot about myself, all right? Yes, I know how to use the tickets. Pacquiao, and you got to learn that system if you go to BYU games. Yes, I learned how to do it. Everything is good now, and I won't forget next time, Spence, all right? Goodness gracious.
Do you feel old?
Well, let me see.
Yes.
Let me see where the tickets are.
I can't actually. I need my reading glasses now. Like unbelievable. My kids are gonna take my phone soon and be like, "I'll do it, Dad." I feel like I'm there already. Gosh.
How do I make the letters bigger?
Old man Jimmer. Let's.
Nothing better. Good way to start off.
You are retired in a way, technically speaking.
Yes. I am retired at the game of basketball, but my career is young in podcasting, so we got a whole lot of time to go. Okay, let's go.
An apt point by you. Our purpose in this podcast remains constant. That is to uplift, educate, and entertain with a wealth of topics, often centered on impactful moments, experiences, and decisions that have shaped the lives of Jimmer, myself, and our MVP guests. Bottom line, we are building for something better and doing it together. Jimmer, remind me, do you still hold the single game scoring record for the McHale Center at the University of Arizona?
That I do, Spence. That I do. Whitney we were watching the game the other night, BYU at Arizona, and she decided to TikTok me as I was, saying that. And of course, it went a little viral, semi-viral, I guess I would call it, for her page. She's just, she does million posts, like million view posts like it's nothing. I'm like, Whitney, how do you do this? It's unbelievable. She just captured it. But if you look at it, the star of the show most of the time is me. All right. So you got to give me a little bit of credit there, but she's the brains behind everything. So I think I do still hold the record there though. So something claim to fame right there.
Checking my notes. Indeed you do. So just wanted to double check on that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate
An
that.
iconic venue to watch basketball in, the McHale Center. And last week's guest, Jason Beck, is coaching in one of the most majestic sites in all of college football, the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan. By the way, plans have already begun for a road trip to watch the Wolverines. That's going to happen here.
Is this why you had Jason on the podcast, Spence? Like secretly, you're like, I just want to go to a game, and that's
Jimmer.
why,
I'm playing chess, man.
Yes, you are playing chess. But Jason was so fun to talk to. The guy's a genius, offensive genius. I love offensive geniuses. You know that. Being a guy that can shoot the ball and wanted to play on that end of the floor mostly. It would have been great if basketball, you're just like, hey, you just play offense, and then we bring in 5 others for defense. How great would have that been for myself? So he was awesome. Had a lot of fun with him, and he's a genuine person, and people in Big Blue, Wolverine Nation, they're gonna love him.
If you had played football for Jason Beck, you would have been an All-American wide receiver, right?
100%. Absolutely. He would have got me wide open.
Yes.
All I would have had to do was just catch the ball. And, I would have made sure to stick him on the hands, whatever it was. I'll make sure to catch that football, but he would have got me wide open.
Your uniform would have stayed clean too, right?
Yeah, don't go on the ground.
Come on.
I don't want to get tackled. No, I'm good.
Clean uniforms and touchdowns, folks. Here is our starting lineup today, beginning with one of Jimmer's basketball buddies. Meta World Peace has thrown his name in the mix for a Big 12 basketball head coaching job. Details on that, and would he be a good fit for that program? Plus, a man who could legitimately coach a high-level team to this day, but chooses not to because he'd rather broadcast, and in his words, never work a day in his life. Fran Fraschilla of ESPN is our featured guest today. Jimmer, I know you have a very special relationship with him because he recruited you to play 3x3 basketball.
Yes, he did. You'll hear about it more on the pod. We talk about that. He was involved with USA 3x3 last cycle. I kind of took over like his kind of position now for this next cycle, but he laid the groundwork from that last cycle, got me to play. I have a cool story about that, but the guy lives and breathes basketball. It doesn't matter if it's 3x3, 5-on-5, TBT, Big 12. The guy loves it, and he's so passionate when he talks about it. It's super fun.
He may have a growing role and feature opportunity in the world of Hollywood as well.
That's right. Oh, that is a classic story. Can't wait. Hustle, baby. Hustle 2. He's going to be in Hustle 2.
Also on the podcast today, my very simple proposal. Nay, I will call it a plea to fix the college football playoff right now. It's not hard. The committee in the college football playoff room can learn from college basketball, Jimmer, and March Madness and their selection committee. Details on that on the way as well, plus more of your unfiltered comments and questions answered in open gym. A lot of people upset about you having to scan tickets at your own jersey retirement.
Man, it's only right, man. Come on. I wanted to make sure everyone was counted. We want that building full. And if 5 people weren't in there, it would have been a sellout. So
we need the accuracy of every ticket being scanned, even
That's
Jimmers,
absolutely
apparently.
Right. That's absolutely right.
Don't forget our latest bad grammar pet peeve of the week. I know you can't wait, Jimmer.
Always. I am so pumped about the grammar section. I never know what it is. Yeah, we always have like a little script we go off of. I don't look at that section because I don't want to know what's coming. I want complete ignorance on that so I can get it in real time. I'm excited about it.
I love it. Let's take our shot with the Early Trey now. 3 top-of-mind subjects to set the pace and get this conversation rolling at a high level. Jimmer, are you ready to shoot?
Yeah, that's a good one today. Let's do it.
Okay, number 1. Kansas State head coach Jerome Tang is being fired by their program. It's a controversial topic in the world of college basketball. Litigation is involved. Was he fired for cause? Jerome Tang feels like he got a raw end of the deal. There's a huge buyout clause included. I think it's $18 million.
Yeah.
But in the mix of all of that, Jimmer, one of your former basketball buddies, Meta World Peace, the artist formerly known as Ron Artest, posted that I'm so excited about the progress I've made in developing into a no-brainer head coach. He's putting his name in the mix. He said the following: Kansas State head coach job is one I think is very interesting for me. Wow. Of note, he followed that post up, or the post just before that, I should say, was one where he said he thinks he's going to be a future Nobel Peace Prize winner. Meta is not afraid to share his opinion, Jimmer. We want him on the show. We're going to get him on the show. But my question for you is, do you think he's a good fit for the Kansas State head coaching job?
Man, first of all, I love Meta. I've been on a trip with Meta to China last summer. Where we got to know each other fairly well. We were there for about 2 weeks, traveled across China, played some charity games, did some different things. And he is a very, very good guy. I really like Meta, and he's very well thought out. He doesn't do things at this point in his life without thinking things through before he does it. And he is someone who I absolutely, respect. He has the right personality to be a very good head coach at the Division I level. Let's put it that way. He is absolutely intense, but he's also, I think he is one of those people that people know that he genuinely cares and is interested in them. He has that kind of respect, which you need at that level. You need someone that brings actual respect and that you can, think is telling you the truth. He's not going to sugarcoat things. But at the same time, he's also played at a super high level, and he's defended the best players in the world at a super high level, was the best defender in the NBA for a long time. And that comes with some really great instincts, some good smarts, and he's coaching right now. He coaches a junior college team in California.
There you go.
A women's junior college team. He has been for a while. He's actually turned the program around. They're actually doing fairly well. So it's not like he hasn't coached at all. He's actually been coaching for the last several years. And I don't know if you remember this, but last when the Knicks head coaching job came open, he actually threw his name in the hat at the Knicks for the head coaching job as well, right? So he's definitely going after targets that he wants to go after. I don't think he's going to get a shot at the Kansas State job, but I don't think that he would be a terrible head coach if he got the job. I mean, why not? Give him a chance and see what happens. My guy he's ready to go. He's passionate. The fan base would love it, and hopefully he would go out and do a great job. But at the same time, I don't think he's going to get the fair shot.
Listen, we have to view hiring high-level college basketball coaches through a different lens now because the game has entirely changed.
Yes.
In my mind, you have to have two absolutes and feel sure about those things before you sign the dotted line and bring on a new head coach. Number one, can he get the boosters excited? Because we're in an NIL era.
Yeah.
So, assessing Meta World Peace from that regard, yes, you telling me that the boosters wouldn't be like, yeah, we're in. Like, let's go. He's a name. He's exciting. Kansas State liked Jerome Tang because he was different. He danced with the students and he danced with his team. You see videos of him coming out when Kansas State went to the Elite Eight and went on that magical run through March Madness back in 2023. And the vibes were immaculate. Meta would bring a similar type feel to that. He's got a name. He's a little quirky, but I think he would excite the boosters. I really do. Like Meta in Manhattan, but it's the other Manhattan. We're making a movie.
We're making a movie. Man, I agree with that. I think he would bring excitement, right? And like I said, he hasn't not been coaching. He hasn't coached at this level. Understood. He's played at this level, at a high level. And he's mellowed out. Like he's obviously someone who is absolutely mellowed out, from his playing days. Obviously we all know some of the things that happened during his playing days, but the guy could play basketball. He's intense. He's mellowed out. He's coaching. He wants to coach. He wants to be great at this. Obviously, he keeps throwing his name in the hats. I think at some point, someone's going to give him an opportunity. I don't know where it is. You see a lot of ex-players that are getting opportunities to coach, whoever that may be, all over the country in some of these smaller Division I schools. I haven't seen it. Obviously, guys like Penny Hardaway who came in and decided he was going to play, and Mike Bibby who decided he was going to coach. Some of these other guys. Meta's going to get a coaching job at some point. I don't know if it's Kansas State, but it'll happen.
Yeah, and he's a guy that played a lot of years with Kobe Bryant. He played for the Zen master, Phil Jackson. Yep. He understands things. He brings immediate validation trying to get guys ready for the NBA. You think Meta understands what it takes to make it in the NBA as a true journeyman there? The other thing that I feel like has to be in place is, can you recruit? Can you recruit this new age of player and know how to function in the NIL venue with money and boosters, but then use your own acumen and your own status and profile to bring in high-level talent? I think his name, his experience, and just how off the radar he is as your typical college basketball coach, if he were put in that position, Jimmer, I think that he would surprise people. So
I think absolutely could.
I think that he's going to get a chance somewhere like you do. Probably not Kansas State, but Meta in Manhattan would be a movie.
I would love watching that as a BYU fan. I'd love following him. And I think part of it is just the intrigue, right? Like sometimes to get the program pushing forward again and like getting that excitement, to have that intrigue of like, man, what's going to happen here? I have no idea. All eyes on Manhattan, just like Deion Sanders, right? Like Deion Sanders, started, obviously at some smaller colleges, but everyone was like, man, how's this going to work out? I want to see what Deion is going to do. And then when he went to Colorado, it was all eyes on Colorado for a couple of years, and obviously did a great job for a lot of that time, and now he's still there. But I think that it could happen similar for Meta at some place, but I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's going to be Kansas State, but we'll see.
We'll see if there is an opening at UCLA as we push into our next subject, because things are not great for Mick Cronin right now. The current UCLA head basketball coach is back in the news for a few reasons. No. And I'm guessing if that job came open, Meta would probably throw his name in the mix for UCLA as well.
Why not?
Speaking of Mick, however, he was in the news because he ejected his own player for a hard foul late in the game against Michigan State. And the game was out of hand. So I understand why he was upset, because Michigan State was up 20 plus. Yeah. His player, however, upon review, Jimmer, looked like he was just hustling and trying to make a play. It was a flagrant one, which doesn't get you kicked out of the game according to the actual rules.
Right.
But Mick Cronin ejects his own player, embarrasses him, sends him to the locker room in front of an opposing student section. And I just thought, why? Why are we doing this? Okay. Then it doesn't stop there, however, because then he delivers one of the more memorable rants or tiffs, if you want to call it that, between himself and another media member when that reporter asked about the Michigan State student section chanting the name of one of UCLA's players who used to play at Michigan State. And he kind of just lost his mind. Yeah. And it became highly personal and insulting. So we're going to ask a few questions here. Number one, what do you think of his first decision to eject his own player from that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a tough look. I mean, it's one of those things where, they're in the heat of the moment. They're in the heat of the battle. It happens. Obviously, he's not happy with his team because they're getting blown out at Michigan State. So it's like, it's an important game for them. It's in the big stage. It's not going well. He sees something like this, and obviously he gets super upset, like something snaps, and he's just like, I can't handle this anymore. He must have thought it was a pretty egregious play. Upon review, obviously it was not that way, but he did it right afterwards. He didn't wait for the review. He saw him come to the bench and he's like, get out of here. Like right now, get off the floor. And I have never seen that happen before. I've never seen a coach kick his own player out of a game without actually having an ejection, right? Most of the time you're kind of just like, all right, let's see what happens. And you kind of go from there. You could be upset. I will say Mick Cronin is cut from a different cloth, right? He is a guy that is old school in how he actually likes to coach his teams. He's cut from that type of cloth where he's
more of a Tobin Sampson guy, is he not?
Yeah, he's going to yell at his guys. He's going to make sure that they know how he feels. He is super intense, and I don't think that he hides that. Like, he's pretty authentic in who he is and what he does, and like this is how he kind of runs his program. Now, that may not be the way that you want to run a program in today's day and age, for some people that they would say, but that's what he does. He's been that type of a person, coach, for his whole tenure when he was at Cincinnati and other places. Like, that's how he's done it. So, obviously he's still authentic to that. I just obviously think it was a little bit over the top to send your own player out and embarrass him, right? Embarrass him is the biggest thing in front of another opposing crowd. And now it's everywhere. Everyone sees it. It's an embarrassing thing. So obviously I don't think it was handled perfectly. He probably regrets some of the stuff, but at the same time, he definitely is that type of intense personality, and he always has been.
We are not here to discredit his ability to coach basketball, because he clearly can do that at a very high level. UCLA was in a Final Four,
very much so,
4 or 5 years ago in 2021. Yeah. And Mick Cronin can still coach at a high level.
Yes.
But everything has changed in the last 2 years.
Yep.
Everything.
Yeah.
NIL, the attitudes of the players. It is more a professional sport in the college ranks than it's ever been before. And it's harder and harder to relate with these type of athletes and these teams when you want to still be an old school coach. That's why you see so many guys leaving the game, like high level coaches that are just like, I can't do it anymore. Tony Bennett at Virginia, Jay Wright at Villanova, even Kelvin Sampson, who Dave Rose is very close with. We had Dave on the podcast recently, and Dave told me, in fact, during your jersey retirement game a few weeks ago, Dave said to me, Kelvin knows that his time as one of those coaches cut from that different cloth that are old school, he's running out of time because he knows he's not going to be able to recruit the way that he has always recruited and get to the athletes the way that he always has. He knows, like, he's got a unique team at Houston, but after this, I think it's probably, this is it for Kelvin Sampson. If he doesn't win a national championship this year, maybe next year, like it's over. And he sees the writing on the wall. Someone like Mick Cronin, I think, is probably feeling that as well, because you have to adapt or die. And man, this type of stuff, it doesn't fly anymore because it's all over. And how much positive reaction has happened because of this? Have you seen anybody say, like, totally understand why you did it? Totally agree.
No,
I haven't seen a single person say that.
Yeah. No, I get you. I totally get you. It's just it's a completely different landscape. And whether you think it's right or it's wrong, it's beside the point, right? There's so many people that are like, hey, kids need to toughen up and they need to listen and they need to understand. Whether you think that or not, that's not what's going on right now. So you have to, like you said, be able to adapt to that, understand who the players are, understand what the fan bases want, understand what the boosters and all these people want. That's part of being a college coach at this point.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's maybe, like I said, whether you like it or not, it's just the way it is. So he's got to understand that. And I think that he is also someone that's like, I'm going to be who I am until I get fired and then I'm going to move on. So maybe that's his mindset. And if that's the way it is, that's his prerogative too.
I'll say this as we close out this topic. I am not opposed to rebuttal or to hearing commentary from people who feel like he did the right thing. Like, we welcome it. We welcome it. But just the visual, it does not look good when things like that happen. And it didn't look any better when what happened in post-game went down, which is, if you've been hiding under a rock and missed it, I'll give you a brief summary. Yeah. He went after a reporter who was asking about the Michigan State student section, and the reporter was asking about Michigan State student section to UCLA's head coach because UCLA now has a player on their roster that used to be at Michigan State. Right. And before the reporter could even finish the question, Mick Cronin essentially loses his mind a little bit, gets really upset. He's like, I don't care about the Michigan State student section. Why are you asking me about that? Someone else starts asking another question, and then he turns back to the same reporter and says, I want to give you kudos for asking the dumbest question I've ever been asked. And I'm laughing now because
it's harsh.
It is funny. It's harsh, but it's humorous. And then the reporter's like, I accept. And he's like, good, you should. You should.
Right. And
he's like, you honestly think I care about this student section? And the reporter starts responding. He's like, you raising your voice at me? You raising your voice at me? Like, dude's like, I'm not raising my voice. Yes, you are. Come on, dude. Everyone can hear. This is live. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy, Jimmer. Was Coach Cronin justified for going after the reporter that way? Because I am of the opinion that crossed the line in a major way. I know you're upset. If you don't like the question, all you have to say is, you know what? I don't really want to comment on someone else's student section. I don't care about it. It's over at that point. It doesn't have to become personal and insulting, but it went to that. So I don't know. Do you feel differently? Am I overreacting to this?
No, I think that whenever you get personal, that's when it crosses the line regardless. I mean, I think that, like you said, even if he just gave a short, snippy answer, like just something short and was like, hey, this is it. Right. You don't degrade someone. Right. I think that's the biggest thing he's saying. That's the dumbest question I've ever heard. Like that's kind of a degrading type thing. You know what I mean? So because of that, that's hard pill to swallow for people. And obviously they're going to get upset when they hear that, and then the emotions are going to flare, and that's what's going to happen. I understand. I've been in the position before where I've heard questions and I'm like, what are you asking me right now? Right? Like in my mind, I'm like, really? Do I have to answer this right now? But at the same time, guess what? That's what their job is. And they're going to ask questions. They have the opportunity to ask any question that they want. And it's up to you to be able to handle that situation in the way that you think it should be handled. And, you know, for most people, obviously, they're trying to do it in a diplomatic way. Now, that doesn't mean that I always say, hey, be truthful in the media. Like, make sure that you're telling how you actually feel. But at the same time, you don't personally attack people or degrade people or do things like that. Just give them an honest answer of how you're feeling at the moment. Sometimes it gets over the top because you are coming off an extremely competitive, very high stress job. And all of a sudden you're like, man, it didn't go well. And I'm feeling really angry now and I don't really care. And I'm just going to say whatever I want to say. And that's how you get these rants, right? And there's some all-time epic rants out there that we should probably talk about on this podcast at some point. But that's how he felt. And, you know, he's not going to hold back. And he's just going to do it the way he wants to do it. But it's hard to watch, obviously, when it escalates to something more than just, you know, banter back and forth. When it becomes personal, it's harder.
Are you raising your voice to me, Jimmer?
I always raise my voice to you.
More. Yeah, come on, dude.
Always. You kidding me? This is what we do. We just yell at each other all day.
Let's yell some more as we go to our third topic. I feel like yelling about this a little bit. The college football playoff is going to remain at 12 teams. Boo.
Sorry, Spence.
I think it's bogus. I want 16 teams, but here we are. So, with a 12-team format still in play, I am feeling very strongly there has to be a better way of determining the 12 most deserving teams that are going to get into the college football playoff. So I'm on my soapbox, if you will, for the desperate need of a net ranking in FBS college football. If you are unfamiliar with what that means, let's give you a Cliff's Notes version. The College Basketball NCAA Tournament Selection Committee has developed a net ranking where it's their primary sorting metric to determine who the best teams in America are. And you are granted more credit if you play harder teams and beat harder teams. And frankly, if you even challenge yourself against harder teams, it takes in consideration that you are going out on a limb to try and better your resume. If you get a road win against an elite team, oh man, it gives you a ton of validation and credit, as it should. It's not just some old school RPI metric that's so outdated. It served its purpose in its time, but it was a needed upgrade a number of years ago, Jimmer. And I'm wondering why there isn't a net ranking system in college football where you are truly rated based on how hard your schedule is, what you've done on the road, how much you tried to test yourself. Basketball has it figured out. They got rid of the archaic RPI metric. College football right now has a human metric that is guided by the eye test and a few other things like strength of schedule, but there are longstanding biases at play in some of these strength of schedule and strength of conference metrics because people just assume, well, the SEC is the toughest conference.
Yeah.
The SEC was not the toughest conference the past year, but everybody started the season thinking that. And so there's naturally biases at play. College football needs to follow the quadrant formula that college basketball has in play. Stay with me here. And you think this is long? It's not. I'm telling you, this is the Cliff Notes version, but your basketball wins are broken into 4 quadrants. A quadrant 1 win is the best type of win. And there are 360 plus Division I college basketball teams. So if you beat essentially a top 30 team on your home floor, that's a quad 1 win. If you beat a top 50 team on a neutral floor, quad 1 win. And if you beat a top 75 team on the road, always tougher to play on the road, that too qualifies as a quadrant 1 win. I'm not going to go through all of the ideas, but you get what I'm saying. Okay.
Yep.
If you're taking on Mississippi Valley State, who's rated number 344 out of 364 teams on your home floor.
No disrespect.
And you destroy them by 60 points. Obviously, that's not going to resonate like challenging yourself and playing at Duke. Even if you lose that game, the committee's going to say, I like that they challenge themselves. This is going to help their net ranking. So college football only, and I say only with some hesitation here, has 136 Division I teams. But why can't we put those teams into quadrants as well so that you can truly justify and evaluate a team's schedule? So my proposal here is based on the Massey rating, Jimmer, which takes into account like 64 different things, strength of schedule. I mean, it is a comprehensive number. And then based on where you land in the Massey ratings, you are put into a quadrant. So take, for example, the BYU Cougars football team that we watched closely last year. They were number 14 in the Massey ratings. So they would have been a quadrant 1 opponent for everybody on their schedule. But BYU beat some teams that were considered middle of the pack by the eye test. But according to the Massey rating, they had 4 quadrant 1 wins. Most people would look and say, yeah, BYU had an okay schedule. I mean, they beat Utah, so they got like, what, 1 good win? I've heard that argument all year. BYU has 1 good win. It was against Utah. No, if you had a quadrant formula set up, BYU beat 4 top 35 teams. Like, that's way better than you would think. At Arizona, on the road, win. Yes, Utah at home, win. At Iowa State, who was number 27 in the rating, quad 1 win. Texas Tech beat them twice, but they're number 8. So again, you played good teams. Like, why are we punishing them as much as they were? Even TCU, number 23 in the Massey rating, quad 1 win on your home field. Point is, BYU is not alone in this. There are other teams that should have been given more understanding and more credit for what they did, but we're so lost in the SEC. It just matters more that teams like BYU and Arizona and other Big 12 conferences or conference schools, even schools in the ACC, it's just they're just given hardly any credit at all. It's like, well, let's assess their schedule. So that's my proposal. Give me a net ranking based on the Massey rating, and then the committee can have a primary sorting metric rather than just being like, well, the eye test tells me that Notre Dame's better. Yeah. Like, I can't with that, dude. It's not that hard. Get a net ranking in there, and then have them decide on Selection Sunday. Only one selection show for the College Football Playoff Committee. Bing, bang, boom. I think we are way closer to getting the 12 most deserving teams in.
You know, Spence, I think you're absolutely right. The thing is this, right? Before we had the RPI or the RPI system, right? So
yes. You dealt with that when you were at BYU.
And it was all computer. And then we went, I don't think we like computers. So they went all people, right? And you had some, like, back in the day when you had all computers, there were some people that were like co-champions or whatever that was. So like, we don't like this. Okay. We're going all people. People know what they're talking about. People understand it. They can see it. I can look at it and be like, oh yeah, they're just way better than this other team, all these things. And now everyone's like, well, there's a lot of biases. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's gotta be a middle, right? And what you're saying is there's a middle ground here where there are quad wins. Just like basketball, I think, has a really good system, just like you said, to be able to understand and get the best 68 teams now into the tournament to understand, hey, these are the teams that need to be here, and this is how we're seeing it. There's a little bit of both. So I agree with you. I think that's totally fair. Let's just mark it down, right? Let's get everybody on board. Let's get this out there as much as we can. Spence's system. This is how it's going to work right here from the logo. I think you nailed it. I really do. I think it's a great system.
I'm going to do it myself, Jimmer. Like, if no one else does it, I'm going to put out my quadrants for all of the teams and their Massey race. Like, I don't care.
Why not?
I'll do it by myself.
Just go do it.
I will try
and
rank
help
it yourself.
People,
yes, see what college football teams are actually doing on their resume.
We're going to have a from the logo ranking every week next year. Let's go. Let's go.
Special and exclusive content.
It's an
section.
Especially good way to do it there, Spence. Especially.
Oh, I appreciate that humor, even though it pains me to hear that word. Good stuff. By the way, I know some of you are saying there are way more data points in basketball. You play way more games. I know that.
I get it.
But you still have at least 12 data points in college football. Let's use all of them and let's expound on all of those 12 data points. That's all I'm asking
There's
for.
a way to do it. All right.
Thanks for hearing me out on my soapbox.
Love it. Love it, Spence. Good work.
The Early Trey, we're shooting from the logo always. Let's take our first break. When we come back, a Hollywood star of sorts, former college basketball head coach extraordinaire and an A-team college hoops and NBA draft analyst for ESPN, Fran Fraschilla, takes on the full court press. Can he get Jimmer and me into a movie? Could that happen?
I mean, that's why I have him on. He better be able to.
He joins us next when From the Logo continues, presented by Spylt.
It's like you're diving into brownie bliss with chocolatey gooey lava that erupts in a world of flavor. And it has 17 grams of protein. What the puff? Hit me. Oh!
Fluffy, chocolatey, and packed with protein. What the puff? Spylt Puff.
Welcome back to From the Logo with Jimmer Fredette, teamed up with Spylt. It is time for this week's Full Court Press, featuring our VIP guest. He coached in college basketball for 23 years at Manhattan, St. John's, and New Mexico. Then his career became all about talking hoops as a A-tier broadcaster with ESPN, and now he's a Hollywood movie star. We'll talk about all of that with the great Fran Fraschilla. Not to mention how he recruited Jimmer Fredette into 3x3 basketball. Spoke with Fran recently. Here is the entirety of that conversation. The great Fran Fraschilla, basketball savant. Great to have you on From the Logo. And just before we started, you pointed out you had a career for 23 years in actual coaching, and now you've been broadcasting for 23 years. Unbelievable run by you. And what's this I hear about a book coming out, Fran?
You know, it's funny. The book's title is Don't Mess with Happy, because after I left coaching to go to ESPN, there were probably the first 5 or 6 years where every spring I'd get the 3 or 4 calls about going back to being a head coach, usually back east where everybody knows me. They love me up at Siena, as Jimmer knows, because I used to coach at Manhattan. And but I had a decision to make. I actually took the associate head coaching job at Marquette with Tom Crean, my good friend. And they were coming off a Final Four, Dwayne Wade, Travis Diener, Steve Novak. And I was all set to move up there for the summer. The family would join me in the fall. And I was 90 minutes from getting on a plane to Milwaukee from Dallas. And it dawned on me, like, don't mess with happy. We lived in a great community in Dallas. The boys were having a great time. I was working 4 months a year at ESPN, being able to do all the other things I could do. And I turned the job down, and I've never looked back. And that was really when I made the decision, okay, you're a broadcaster for good now. And so don't mess with happy simply means I've had a great run in, coaching and broadcasting. And I've never had a real job because it's always been about basketball. Thank you, Dr. Naismith. If it wasn't for Dr. Naismith, I'd have to get a job. Jimmer would have had to get a job. So it's worked out well.
Yeah. We didn't want me to get a real job in the real world. We wanted to make sure we played basketball where we belong. But that's awesome to hear. I mean, don't mess with happy. I can't wait for that book to come out in October. You said, right, Coach? In October.
I hope so. Yeah.
Hope
we're
so.
done
That's
with it. We're polishing it up now. We'll hope it gets out by then.
I was thinking that at some point, Coach, that you actually would do a little bit more in Hollywood, right? Because of your little appearance that you had on Hustle. It was phenomenal. Tell us a little bit about that. And did you ever get any other roles? Are you going to get any other roles after that, Coach?
I've been told that if there's a sequel that I'm in for sure.
Let's go. Let's go.
Every 3 months, I get a check from the Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, for $269, $53. I actually got a check the other day for 47 cents. I don't know how, but it's true. But what happened was I got a call.
Uh,
You guys know who Dan Patrick is, right? Sports Center.
Oh,
oh
yeah.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Dan's a great guy. He's a basketball junkie. He grew up in Dayton, Ohio. I think he
Yep.
played a little bit of basketball at Eastern Kentucky. And so he called me one day and he said, "Hey, my friend's making a movie and it's about this international player and this NBA scout. And I thought of you. You could help these people out with some, background information because as you guys know, I did the draft for a long time." And I said,
Yeah.
"Sure. What's your friend's name?" And he goes, "Adam Sandler." I go, "I'll help out." Sure. So Adam's people call me and they said, "We're making this movie," and they explained the movie. And they said, "Do you think there's anybody that you would know who could play the role of Bo Cruz?" So immediately I thought of Luka Doncic. And I
Right.
called his
Yeah.
agent. Jimmer, Bill Duffy wasn't your agent, was he?
No, I talked to
Oh,
Bill,
okay.
but I didn't. Yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah, but Bill was his agent, and I called Bill, and he checked back with me 2 days later. He goes, "Nah, Luka wants to hang out on the Croatian Riviera for the summer." And so
He's good.
anyway, I helped them out, and when they got the thing going, they said, "Hey, we're gonna have you make a cameo in the movie." Well, COVID hit, they stopped filming, and I said, "That's it. My big break's not gonna happen." Well, about a year later, they were finishing up filming, and the people from the movie called me and said, "Are you ready? Can you get to Philadelphia in early September?" I said, "Yes." And the coolest thing was, I swear they had a trailer for me with my name on the door. I had one of those. I did. And the other thing that was,
Oh,
yeah. And then like they had this script for me. And as you guys know, Adam's a big basketball guy. And one of his friends growing up, who was a college coach in New England, in New Hampshire, they had the script and he was there with us. And he said to the script writer, "Coach Fran doesn't need a script. Let him just wing it." So I had to come up with my own, dialogue. And here you go. You ready? Can I give it to you?
Yeah, let's hear it. I want to hear it. Let's go.
We've been watching Kermit Wilt since he was in AAU. We knew he was going to be an NBA player, but this guy Bo Cruz, I thought I knew every player on the planet, and I never heard of this guy. And that was it. One take. One take.
There we go. Still got it. Still
I
got
still
it.
got
That's
it. I
right.
still remember it. And when I filmed it in the morning, we actually filmed it in Philadelphia. They created this like NBA draft combine, like in Chicago, and I filmed it at 9 a.m. So Adam came in a little later, and I'm standing on the side watching him continue to film the movie. And Adam comes up to me and hits me in the stomach, and he says, "Coach, I heard you killed it." And that was cool. And then about a
That
year
is
later,
awesome.
we got invited to the premiere. And as you guys know, the coolest thing about that movie, I had to watch it twice because I didn't realize how many cameos were in the movie. You
Oh
know,
my
like
goodness. Yes.
like
Yeah.
yeah, Tyrese Maxey. Oh wow, Tobias Harris, Trey Young. It was such a realistic depiction of an NBA combine draft, whatever. But it was
Yeah.
very cool. We got to go to LA for the premiere, and my movie career was born. It hasn't gone very far, I can tell you that. But hey, I'm 1 for 1.
1 for 1.
Hollywood star Fran Fraschilla is on From the Logo. His next 47-cent check is in the mail somewhere, no doubt
Sometime.
about it.
Yeah.
It's not like Friends. It's not like Friends checks that they're getting, all
No,
those residual
no,
checks.
it's not.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That's great.
That was fun.
Fantastic story. Okay, let's rewind to your introduction to the game of basketball,
Oh.
Fran, both as a player and an interested party in that regard, and then how that evolved into why you wanted to coach basketball.
Well, it's a great question, Spencer. Like I grew up in New York City, in Brooklyn. Where Jimmer grew up, we always say upstate New York. Jimmer was upstate. I was in the city.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you grew up in Brooklyn in my era, and it dates me a little. But we had a great New York Knicks team. This would have been a 69-70 Knicks. That's over 50 years.
yes.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
But every one of
Yeah.
those starters is in the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Jeez.
They played the game the right way. They hit the open man was what we all grew up watching. And we would watch that Knicks team and then go to the park and try to duplicate moving the ball and sharing it. And the things you learn on a playground, I'm sure it was true with you guys. But I learned so much on a playground in Brooklyn. You learn how to be the youngest guy in the team. And if it's a Saturday morning where there's 25 guys waiting and you got picked to play with the older guys, no mistakes. Don't cause our team to lose. And then we got to wait 2 hours, right?
Yep.
So I was the hustle guy. I was the ball mover. And as I got older in the park where we grew up, I got better. I got to pick my teammates. I wanted to pick guys that would screen for me, make the right play. The things you learn on a playground are unbelievable, like conflict resolution, right? It's off Jimmer. No, it's off you. No, it's off you. No, you found me, right?
You got to shoot for it.
Yeah, shoot for it. Or some guy's talking trash, you're talking trash back, and after the game, it's that mutual respect. Good game, man. Hey, love playing against you. So many of those lessons I grew up learning on a playground that I knew early on I knew I wasn't going to be an NBA player at my size, and I gravitated towards coaching. And I was a really good baseball player in New York. My sons went on the internet once when they were little, back in the early 2000s when the internet was coming up, and they said to me one day, "Hey, Dad, were you all city in baseball?" I go, "Yeah, I think I was." They go, "Yeah, no, we just looked it up." And so I was a good baseball player, but I love basketball.
Love it.
And I knew I wanted to coach, and I knew I wasn't going to be a pro. And when I went to college at Brooklyn College, I actually went back and coached the JV at my high school as a college freshman. And that's how it got started. My high school varsity coach said, "Hey, listen, you don't have to teach, and we'll have a teacher. They'll be like you'll coach the team, but I didn't get the title because I wasn't a teacher. I was still a college freshman, but I got to coach junior varsity high school basketball as a 19-year-old. That's how it started."
Awesome. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but if you were growing up on the 69-70 New York Knicks, you witnessed the Willis Reed moment when it happened.
Yes.
How did that change your life, Fran?
Yeah,
Well,
seriously,
what's
that's
funny?
unbelievable.
Well, let me tell you something, Spencer. First of all, there was no ESPN back then. And in New York City that night, it was Game 7, a Friday night, May 8th. How about that?
Yep.
Right?
I love it.
And the crazy thing about it was the game was not televised live in New York.
What?
It was on tape.
Jeez.
That's how it was in the old days. When Magic won his first Laker championship, 1980, and on CBS, that's not that long ago. That game was tape delayed till 11:30 that night. And so we didn't see I listened to Marv Albert that night. The great Marv Albert that was the voice of my childhood. But yes, Willis got hurt in Game 5. We somehow managed to beat the Lakers and Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor. We lose Game 6 in LA. Willis comes out and hits I think, Jimmer, he had an ACL injury. Like they didn't call it an ACL back then.
Yeah, something crazy.
So he comes out with an ACL, hits the first 2 shots, doesn't score the rest of the night, and the great Walt Clyde Frazier went for 36 and 19 assists that night. And the rest is history. We won our championship. And we all went to the park the next morning and, tried to duplicate that.
Tried to play with a limp. Yeah, that is unbelievable. Just
Yeah.
What a great story. And obviously, I grew up in New York. I grew up a Knicks fan as well. Didn't watch that one live, Fran. Unfortunately.
No, you were not. I don't think you
that
were.
was
You
little
weren't
before
born
my
yet,
time.
man. Come on.
That was a little before my time. I was Allen
Yes.
Houston, Larry Johnson era, right?
There you go.
Unbelievable stuff. Coach, obviously going through, coaching all over the place that you've been. What was your coaching philosophy like? How did your teams play specifically? And do you see that in the game, and some of your philosophies in the game today?
Well, Jimmer, my philosophy was we had a high standard, man. Our practices were incredible. I mean that. My kids at Manhattan College first. We had a kid from Albany Christian Brothers Academy who's now
CBA.
CBA. And we had a big Manhattan contingent up there because of the Christian Brothers taught at Manhattan College also. But
That's right.
my coaching philosophy was we're gonna get the most out of every single guy, every single day, every single practice. I had a high standard. I was very intense, and but I also knew how to manipulate guys like I would say to you in February, what's that practice plan say, Jimmer? You'd say 50 minutes, coach. And I'd say, okay, guys, look, if we go hard as we can for 50 minutes, we're done. Okay. You want to be out here an hour and a half, go right ahead. But if you want to get it done and get out of here, 50 minutes. And so I was a hard ass, excuse my language, for dedication, discipline, doing things the right way every single day. We started the practices the same 25 minutes every single day with fundamentals. And I would say to the guys, don't get bored if you're getting better. And I would say to them, hey, I'm bored too. Okay. I want to put the tricky plays in, but we're not going to put the tricky plays in until we handle our business early. So I was pretty demanding, and I would tell you this, I think this is a cool story. My Manhattan College team in 1994-95 is a team that ended up beating Oklahoma in the NCAA tournament as a 13 seed, and Oklahoma was a 4 seed. We were 22-2 towards the end of the season, and we played on a Monday, and we didn't play till Saturday, and we were rolling. We had a really good mid-major team, and so I gave them off on Tuesday, and I come in Wednesday morning, and I tell my staff, I think we need another day off. Okay.
Wow.
It's a long season. I'm going to make sure we get our rest, but I'm not going to let them think I'm satisfied. So we'll dress out today and tape up. And after 5 minutes, I'll make something up like crazy and go nuts and kick them out. So 5 minutes into that Wednesday practice. Now, remember, we didn't play till Saturday, so we were good, right? It's late in the year. We're rolling. I kick him out. Some guy dropped a pass in our 3-man weave. I go nuts. You guys think you're better than you are. You're 22-2. I give you a day off, and this is what you do to me. And so I leave to go up to my office in the gym, Traddy Gym at Manhattan College. And my assistant coach has said to me, Coach, that was Academy Award right there. I mean, you might be on Hustle someday if you keep this
That's
up.
what I was about to say. You started your career right there.
But here's the cool thing. The managers come up 5 minutes later and they say, Coach, they're practicing. I said, what are you talking about? Oh, no, they took the practice plan. They're practicing with no coaches. They took so much pride in the way we practiced that they thought they were letting me down and their teammates down. And my assistant coach said, should we go out there? And I said, no, it's not our team anymore. It's their team. They thought they were letting me down, so they stayed out there and practiced. And I didn't tell them for 25 years until we had the reunion.
Awesome.
It was the coolest moment of my career. We beat Lute Olson at Arizona when they had a 60-game winning streak when I was at New Mexico.
Jeez.
I beat UConn when I was at St. John's when they had a 50-game win streak. But that moment where they kept practicing without me was the best moment of my coaching career because they believed that we were so good because of the way we practiced every day.
Wow.
And that's my philosophy in a nutshell.
That is an unbelievable story. And I'm guessing it shows up in your book somewhere. If it doesn't, Fran, you need to make a modification right now.
Well, and by the way, I did not, given that this is a PG rated or G rated podcast, I'm not going to share with you the language I used that day when I kicked them out.
We appreciate that, Fran.
And
We
I don't use it
appreciate that.
anymore.
We can imagine. Yeah, that's right. Not anymore. Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
That's right.
How about that?
So
Go Jaspers.
And by the way, I coached that at St. John's in New Mexico. You know, I was in witness protection in New Mexico. My mother said, do you need a passport to come visit you? I said, no, Mom, it's New Mexico. Don't worry. You know, and but in all those 3 stops, the best place I coached at was Manhattan. It was my first head coaching job. It was mid-major, as Jimmer knows, Siena, Manhattan, big rivalry, and it was great because it was like there was an innocence there. And then I go to St. John's and coach in the Big East, coach in the Mountain West, and got to know Steve Cleveland and Dave Rose really well, 2 good friends. But my favorite part of coaching was at Manhattan College, where I was trying to figure out whether I could be a head coach after coming from Providence College as an assistant. My kids were little. They were just babies. And coolest thing on a Saturday afternoon after we beat Fairfield or Marist was driving home and grabbing pizza at Papa John's and bringing it home and watching basketball with my 2 little guys.
So great.
They're not little
That is
anymore.
what it's
Jimmer
about.
knows.
They're not. They're not. Fran Fraschilla is on From the Logo and telling incredible stories. Let's have some hypothetical fun, shall we, Fran?
Yeah.
Let's rewind you to when you were in witness protection in New Mexico, coaching the Lobos. Let's say you had the game plan for Jimmer Fredette. How would you have tried to game plan with your Lobos for Jimmer Fredette at BYU?
Hey, listen. It was hard for Eddie, but we noticed. I don't want to build him up, but maybe we would have done with remember when Steph Curry didn't score in a game at Davidson because the coach at Loyola, Maryland, put 2 guys on him?
Yes.
And Davidson won by 30, and I don't think Steph scored that night. But we'd have to think about putting 2 guys on Jimmer. But Jimmer had some good teammates, too. I saw those guys play in the NCAA tournament, and I don't know how you guard Jimmer, really. Maybe deny him the ball. I mean, you're talking about, he's not going to get a big head because I know how he is, but you're talking about one of the great college players of the last 2 decades. So that's a tough question, Spencer. You put me on the spot. Well, you know what we would do? I'm going to tell you the story because, Spencer, I think I've told you. Yes, I hated BYU when I was coaching against them because Jimmer, the guys that came back from the missions, they were dirty. They cheap shotted you, elbowed you. Then after the game, they shake your hand and go, "Coach, good game, man. You guys play so hard. We love playing the Lobos." I'm like, get out of here, man. But we would have probably had a cheap shot Jimmer a couple times, which I'm sure people tried to do. But he's too good a guy to do that. He's too good a guy to do that. I don't think I could do that. So
no,
that would have been hard
no
to
cheap
stop.
shots. No cheap shots for me. Yeah, I definitely got cheap shotted before. You know how it works, though. You get cheap shotted, then you just go harder, right? You go harder. That's how it works. The best way to do it is actually just be as kind as you possibly can, and just be like, if you can do that, then all of a sudden you're like, all right, this is a little odd. Yeah, Andrew Luck route.
Spencer, he killed people. Jimmer killed people with kindness as he dropped 45 on him.
I'd smile. I'd always smile. So, Fran,
yes,
obviously you had a great coaching career, and then you decided, all right, this isn't for me. It's time to get into broadcasting. And like you said, you talked about it a little bit before. I want to dive a little bit more into that of like, what specifically led you to broadcasting? Why did you like that route? And obviously you're the face of the Big 12, right? Like when people think of Big 12, they think of Fran Fraschilla. How has that rise been, and how much work have you had to put into it?
Well, first of all, Jimmer, honestly, no work at all, because I've grown up, I mean it sincerely, from the time I was 13 or 14, I've been around basketball every single day of my life since I was 13 or 14. I'm just telling you that. Yeah. Whether it's talking on the phone to coaching friends, watching tape, reading articles, studying the game, and still at this time, I'm always learning something. I try to tell young coaches this, they don't believe me, but I learned something about basketball every week of my life. I go watch Kelvin Sampson practice and I see an inbounds play, like a 2-second on a shot clock play they put in. I go, damn, right. I wish I had that in my playbook, So It's not work. I prepare for the season, Big 12, ESPN, the whole year long. Like if I see a really cool article in the Salt Lake Tribune on, let's say, Kebakeda in July, he just came back from, his home country and he was playing volleyball with his brother. Like that, Spencer, I dropped that in there.
Let's go. Yeah, there you go.
I'll put that article in the BYU file. And so I'm constantly upgrading and updating my knowledge. And then, whether it's watching practice tape or games, like I'm doing Houston, Arizona and Houston on Saturday, and I'm watching a Big 12 championship game from last year, Houston, Arizona, just so something happens in a game. So I can't really say this is work. Now, here's the other thing. Growing up in New York City, where you argued about the Mets and the Yankees, the Knicks and the Nets, the Jets and the Giants, you learned the gift of gab. And honestly, and so when I segued into broadcasting, we moved the family to Dallas. I really truly thought I would only do it for a couple of years and then go back to coaching. And as I told you guys earlier, once I really got my feet wet with broadcasting, and I loved it, and I loved the lifestyle. And I didn't have to recruit guys and, all the stuff that goes on, the pressure of coaching. I decided, again, don't mess with Happy. But I work at my craft, as you guys could probably tell,
Oh, yeah.
But I don't consider it work. Like if you guys were watching a game on TV and maybe it was you guys and KY and I said something and you guys were all together and saying, that's not really true. I wonder why Fran said that. I would be insulted. So I always try to take it like, yeah, you know what Fran just said made sense. Or Fran knows our team, or something like that. Like for example, Spencer knows this. I love Rob Wright Jr. and I think now he's going to the shackles are going to come off. But
Right.
I did say on the air every now and then Rob delivers the ball a half second late, and Richie's waiting for it, and it's just a little bit late. And I'm not afraid to say those things because I know KY and the staff are telling Rob the same thing, even though I have the utmost respect for how talented a player he is. And we may really see him blossom in these last few games because it's just him and AJ right now, at least picking up scoring slack. So I put a lot of time into it, but by no means do I consider what I do work.
Fran, you brought up the fact that you're going to call Arizona at Houston on Saturday for ESPN, which is just amazing. You and John Shambi do such a great job. So fun to listen to those games. The Big 12 is so loaded this year and very top heavy. And I think widely considered the best college basketball conference in America. Yeah. So with that said, who's the best team in all of college basketball right now? And is it a Big 12 team?
Well, it's a good question. I think it varies week to week, Spence. And
Yeah, it really does.
Right now I would have to say Michigan. But last week before Koa Pete's injury, I would have said Michigan and Arizona. And then right behind them, you have the Dukes, you have the Iowa States, you have Houston with those two great young freshmen fitting in with Sharp and Uzan and Tugler. And the crazy thing about the Big 12 this year, and it's so unfortunate about the injuries to JT Toppin and to Richie Saunders, is that this last month of the season is almost like the Western Conference NBA playoffs. Like every night there's an incredible matchup. Like we don't have Oklahoma City and the Nuggets, but we have Houston, Arizona. We had Arizona or BYU a couple weeks ago. And give ESPN credit and the Big 12 for backloading the schedule. It's not easy for the top of the league, but I think it's made for incredible drama. And like, for example, if Arizona loses again on Saturday, it doesn't matter. They're already a 1 or a 2 seed, because they're not losing. Honestly, they're not losing to UCF or West Virginia. They're losing to a team in Houston that can win a Final Four. And until the injuries, I thought there were 5 or 6 teams that we could have put in that boat. But it's still a top every league, and we still have some great games. And by the way, you will see me on senior night because Texas Tech is rolling into Provo, and I'll have one more trip to a city that you guys know I really love coming to. So
that's for sure. We love having you in Provo, Fran. I know all of the Cougars fans out there love having you. They interact with you on X and all the different platforms, which I see, which is awesome. And you gotta make sure you get yourself a cougar tail and have yourself a great time, right? You gotta
and Cubbies.
Get on.
I go to
get
Cubbies.
On Cubbies. There you go. Get in some Cubbies. Get on the treadmill before though. I know you like to get on the treadmill in the morning, right, Coach? You get the treadmill in the morning and make sure you get those calories burned. Then you can go out there and eat what you need to eat. So, Coach, who's the best player that you've seen in college basketball this season? And then I have a follow-up after that.
Man, I mean, it has to be. Listen, I'm not going to be bad-mouthing Darryn Peterson. He's a great player. Yeah. I have seen him when he's healthy, and he's really a phenomenal player. I thought maybe Kobe early, but we can't do that. Kobe would not have sat out any of these games. He wouldn't have.
That's very true.
Hey, you guys remember? Do you remember Kobe shot 2 free throws with a torn Achilles?
Yes, and he made both of them.
He made both of them, and then walked off.
Yeah,
he walked off.
Yeah, and
on a torn Achilles.
Yes, and KD did it also in the NBA Finals. And but in all honesty, not because this is Cougar centric here, because of you two guys.
Sure.
But what I love about AJ, and I've said this on the air, and I've probably told Spencer this. When I saw him with the USA team in Colorado Springs, where, as you guys know, I live now, and I get to see USA basketball. AJ's the kind of guy that if you're playing Finland and you're up 40, he's getting 12 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists.
Yep.
Okay? And when you're playing in a gold medal game, he's getting 29 and 15 because he knows, like, he's a great teammate.
He knows the time.
But he also knows, like, what I love about him this year, I didn't expect him to dominate even the bad teams. Like, Eastern Washington comes in, he's trying to kill him on the court, of course. And obviously, we've seen what he's done at UConn, Clemson, second halves, what he's going to have to do now, like he did, the other night. And I know this is a crazy analogy, but if KG, who Jimmer's played against many times, came back as a small forward, AJ's got a little KG in him in terms of that hunger for competitiveness.
Yeah.
I can't put anybody in the KG category. But as a college player at 19, AJ's got some of that. And I think right now he would have to be the best player in the country. And because he's proven it time and time again all season long, regardless of the competition.
Yeah. So my quick follow-up then is just, who are you taking number one? Is it AJ then? You taking number one in the draft?
Well,
because I'm taking AJ number one in the draft. That's what I said in that last podcast for those same reasons that you just talked about. But most people have Darryn as number one, and I understand and I get it. But I'm curious, who are you taking number one?
Okay, so I have a good friend, Kevin. I don't know if you know Kevin Pritchard, Jimmer, the
I
GM
do.
for the Pacers, right?
Yep.
Kevin Pritchard, they're going to have a lottery pick. Okay, let's say they have the number one pick.
Sure.
He's got to go to his owner, Mr. Simon, all those outlet mall, those shopping center malls, the Simon family. But he's got to go to Mr. Simon in early June and say, we're going to take Darryn Peterson number one, and we're going to commit $36 million to him. And Mr. Simon's, the owner of the Pacers, is going to say, wait a minute, is this the kid that kept missing games and cramping up? And yeah, Mr. Simon, that's the kid. Well, what are we doing here? I mean, how do we know he's going to play more than 50 games a season? And so I think right now among the top players, the best ability is availability.
Right.
And I think right now you got to go with AJ. I think you'd even have to think about Cam Boozer. And, Spencer has seen up close and personal Kingston Flemings.
Oh, man.
That kid is good.
Hey, listen, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went 11th. They're not 10 better players than him in that draft.
No.
Dame Lillard went 6th. Jalen Brunson went 34th. He's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. So all I know is AJ, to me, is a very safe pick because of all the things he brings to a team. And I can't right now in good conscience go with Darryn Peterson because it's a fluid, crazy situation.
Fran Fraschilla is on From the Logo. We are discussing the top college basketball players in the country. We just asked him who he'd take number one in the NBA draft. We know that the right team and the right fit obviously factors into that heavily. Fran, out of curiosity, how much are you consulted with by NBA GMs and coaches because you are around so many high-level basketball players and basketball teams for your opinions and expertise?
It's a great question, Spencer. I have a lot of friends around the league. The one thing that I get to really do as a broadcaster, because I'm an ex-coach also, and I know all the coaches, is I get to go to every practice I want, really. Now, there's practices in late February and early March where I won't go the day before, but I'll go to the shoot-around because it could be a team like TCU fighting for survival, and I don't want them to be worried, the coaches to be worried about, the ESPN guys here. But like tomorrow afternoon, I'll be at Houston Cougar practice, okay? And because I'm close to their coaching staff. And I'll give you a good example. In your first year in the league, Spencer, you remember Jamal Shed.
Oh, man.
He was a man.
Wow.
And I remember seeing Jamal. And again, I coached 18 NBA players as a head coach and as an assistant. I have a son coaching in the league. I know, I've watched them all come through. I know what an NBA player looks like, I think. But I remember telling my friends in the NBA, you're not cutting Jamal Shed, okay? Jimmer knows that every team in the league has a backup point guard, and sometimes they have a third point guard.
Yeah.
And I said, Jamal Shed's not getting cut. He's going to make your team because he brings energy every day. He's going to be your summer league point guard. Like when you draft a Jimmer Fredette and you go in a summer league, and this probably didn't happen with Jimmer because he went to an organization. Just leave it at that you know. But if you're drafting Jimmer Fredette and you're in summer league, you better have a Jamal Shed or a TJ McConnell who's not only trying to make the team, but is going to make sure that our top pick is getting shots. Am I right, Jimmer?
100%. Absolutely.
And
You need
so,
those
like
guys on your team.
Jamal Shed's going to make your team. He's going to bring energy every day. And if you got to drop him for the G League for a couple of weeks. So anyway, yes, there are a number of people in the league that will call me and say, "Hey, what do you think of this kid at practice?" And I'll tell you a perfect example. Last year with KY, when I said, "Hey, can Richie make the league?" He said to me, even if he wasn't a great shooter, he could make the league because he brings toughness every day. And we're all going to be pulling for Richie to get healthy quick, because I think we all agree that if Richie's at his best physically, that he's going to be a quality addition to a team. And as Jimmer knows better than anybody here, there's only 25 superstars in the league. Everybody else is a role player.
That's exactly right.
If you can find your role, and I love finding roles for my friends in the league. Like, you need to watch this kid, George Niang. He brings energy, teammates love. The reason George gets traded so much is because everybody wants him on his team,
Yeah.
But he's not good enough.
He's not correct.
He's not good enough to be in your top 7, but
Right.
you want him on your team. And that's what I love about the league, is watching these kids that I see come through the Big 12 and seeing them make the NBA. And Tyrese Halliburton texted me on Monday night, because I remember his freshman year, he had 5 points against Missouri. They blew Missouri out. He played 38 minutes. And I said, the best pro prospect on Iowa State is this kid who just scored 5 points as a freshman. And he texted me Monday night and said, "How about my clones?" And that's the kind of friendship and relationship I've built up with these guys through the years, which is kind of cool.
You bring up a great point, Fran, when you talk about a guy like Richie Saunders, and let's bring in JT Toppin into this mix as well, because obviously ACL tears require a lengthy recovery and a lot of treatment, and you need things to go right, and you got to work through all of that rehab. And the timing stinks. There's no way around it. The timing absolutely stinks, because it stunts their ability to hop into those postseason workouts and get into workout for NBA teams and the draft. So what do you do with those two guys? Because I sit back here and I feel like if there's somebody that's going to find a way to make it in the NBA, it's Richie Saunders. Like, it doesn't matter. But it still impacts the timeline and how he's going to be evaluated. And the same thing for JT Toppin. So where do you go with those guys?
Well, Jimmer knows it's a tough break. I mean, God forbid anybody tears an ACL. You'd rather it be like last September, right?
Correct.
Instead of the end of the season. My son Matt, when he played at Harvard, he tore his ACL the third game of the season at Providence, diving on the floor. And he was a hard worker. And I remember he told me afterwards, he said, "Dad, my knee was structurally sound in 6 months, but I didn't feel the same for 9 to 12 months." And Jimmer, I don't know if you've ever had an injury that severe, but you've had teammates that have gone through this, and you've watched guys rehab. So the toughest, first of all, if you're a maniac about rehab, you will be back a little sooner than the average guy, but it's still going to be like a 6 to 12 month process. And I think JT was going back to Texas Tech anyway. I do think so. And my gut feeling with JT is like maybe by January 1st. Again, I hope he's back in October. Don't get me wrong. But I think like by January 1st, maybe 9 months, he could be ready to go. And with Richie, I think what's going to happen is he still could go second round, maybe. It's a little different now because of the injury, but someone's definitely signing him. And maybe to a 2-way deal, and then he's going to rehab with a team. And by the way, Colin Gillespie, who's now a good player in Phoenix, Villanova guy, he broke his leg like right before the start of his rookie year, and it took him a couple years, and now he's in. They love him in Phoenix. I mean, Jimmer knows he was in Denver.
He was great.
They didn't know what they were doing in Denver, honestly, but that's another story. And they let him go. Mike Malone loved the guy. My point is, Richie's going to get his chance. And, we're all people of faith, right? And I think Richie's going to bust his tail, and he's going to put it in the man upstairs' hands. And I can't imagine if he's not completely healthy, it's 9 to 12 months that he's not going to have, maybe he's going to start his career a little later than most, but he'll find a way on a roster. That's my opinion. Jimmy, what do you think?
I agree. I agree, Fran. I think that it is going to, it's probably going to affect his draft stock some. It just is what it is. But at the same time, he's going to get a shot somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a road of through the G League. Like, it's just going to be that way. And that's okay because there's a lot of guys that do that now. And Richie is a fighter. He's a guy that, like we said, he's energy. He's a fighter. He's competitive.
Yep.
He wants it. He knows he wants it. So he's going to go out there and he's going to find a way just because that's who he is. It just is. It's always a bummer when you see something like that. So
it's tough.
It's really tough. Coach, I wanted to transition into something. Maybe some people may know this, some people may not know this, but Coach Fraschilla was actually the guy that got me to go in and play 3x3 basketball. And which was an awesome thing. And I want to talk a little bit about that when you called me the first time. And then I want to talk about our lunch that we had at Redlands Grill here in Denver to be able to solidify me playing 3x3 basketball. Tell us a little bit about that.
All right. Well, first of all, Spencer, Jimmer and I crossed paths a few times. Like, obviously, I followed his incredible career. And Jimmer, we first crossed paths, I think, like TBT.
Yeah.
When you were playing TBT. And then when Harvard played in Shanghai, I went to the game the night before and I sat up top with Yao because of my friendship with Jeff Van Gundy and Tibbs. And Yao didn't really know me, but he was really nice to me. And I remember seeing you down in the locker room after the game with Donald Sloan and we just, we talked and, we kind of connected then. And then when I got asked to kind of help out and organize USA 3x3, we're trying to qualify for the Olympics, I was thinking of everybody I could who might be good at this, Spencer. And I said, Jimmer Fredette lives an hour from me. I know how competitive he was. It's half court, so I know we can do this. I just took a shot I really took a shot about his competitiveness, and we went up and had lunch and I explained this crazy deal. And I didn't know that he played like the Gus Macker 3-on-3. And that was a big thing to him growing up in Glens Falls. Like, we all grew up playing 3-on-3. I don't care if you grew up in Provo, Utah, or upstate New York, wherever, Venice Beach, California, you played 3-on-3.
Absolutely.
Right? So we all grew up playing 3-on-3. And I explained this crazy game to him. There's a shot clock, 12 seconds. You got to take it out. And it's basically the way we all grew up playing 3-on-3 on steroids.
Yeah.
And so once I explained it to him, he kind of bought into it. And we had that first training camp in Brooklyn, Jimmer, if you remember, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then the next thing you know, and I had to do the sales job. Like, listen, just give us 6-7 weeks of summer, and you could be the face. And listen, it was terrible that he got hurt, and, like Richie, but he brought so much to the sport. And I have to tell you this, he won't tell you, but everywhere those guys went around the world, forget how good he was, because he was really one of the couple best players on the tour. Those Oop guys were good, Jimmer. Those guys from Serbia.
They're always good. Good.
They were tough as hell. And but everywhere we went or when they went on their own, the four guys, they all knew Jimmer, like in Serbia, in the Netherlands, and Mongolia. Think of the crazy places you went. Wherever they went and played, representing the U.S., it was always like people just wanted to say hi to Jimmer, get his autograph. And he was incredible ambassador, like I knew he was. And now he's got a chance to take it forward as the managing director. And it's the coolest thing because I've never told him this. We couldn't have found a better poster boy for 3x3 than him, Spencer, because he was a great talent. He was competitive. He's the boy next door. If you don't like Jimmer Fredette, you don't like people. All the things that all the things that everybody associated with BYU has grown to love about him. He did the same thing for us and building this 3-on-3 program. So it was really cool. And I mean, I know his eyes were opened by the toughness and the competition and no autopsy, no foul, right? Tell him, Jimmer, tell Spencer, no autopsy, 100%. No foul.
I tried to tell him. Spencer's always
And-
calling the weak fouls. Spencer's
Come
always
on,
calling weak
man.
fouls, man.
Come on.
I touch him, and
Hey.
he's like, foul.
Big 12 tough here. Big 12
Spencer,
tough
the-
here. Let's go.
Spencer, the coolest thing about 3x3 that I tell everybody is the opponent will knock you down, but they'll help you back up.
Yep.
And then
They
after
will.
the game, they're patting you on the back, and maybe some of those guys go out for a beverage that I'd rather have iced tea. I know Jimmer's probably drinking Dr. Pepper or root beer, right?
100%. 100%.
But
Coke
the
Zero.
cool thing, Jimmer, right? I mean, it was highly competitive, but with a lot of respect. Kind of like the old
Lot of
days, the way we
respect.
grew up. A
Yeah.
lot of respect, and it's a hard sport. It's the equivalent of volleyball and beach volleyball, and it's really hard to explain. And the three guys that played it in the Olympics when Jimmer got hurt, I try to tell people that's like running a 4x400 relay, and one guy's got to run twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how hard it was. And the
Yeah.
one guy that had to run twice was Canyon Barry, and Canyon put on one of the great performances in 3x3 history, right? The 17 points,
He did.
kind of amazing. Canyon's mom and dad live a mile from me here in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So I don't know, Jimmy, what's your take on the whole thing and getting you involved?
It was great. I mean, it was such an awesome. I remember getting that call, and I'd heard about it a little bit. Obviously, I'd watched it very much, but it was something that I knew was attached to the Olympics. And like I
Yes.
said, I love the Olympics. I just absolutely always have.
Yeah.
And to have a chance to be able to play in the Olympics was just like I was in, right? And it didn't
Yeah.
really care what it was. I remember during that summer when we had talked about it. I wanted to start playing, and I know that Team DC was out there playing, and I remember
Yes.
like texting you, calling you, and be like, "Oh, they were looking for another guy to come play or something." I was like, "Can I play? Like, I'll come play with them right now." And we all know that those rules don't allow that
Yeah.
to happen, and
I
I know
know.
that better than anybody now. But back then, it's like you don't know. It's like I just want to go play and get ready to go. And it was one of those things where. It was just it's a beautiful sport. Respect, like you said, is a big part of it with all the guys that are there. And it's something that I just absolutely grew to love. I grew to love that sport, and that's why I'm continuing to still be involved in it in a high way, in a big way. But it's one of those things that life-changing experience for sure.
And Fran, let's
Yeah.
remind everyone that before Jimmer got involved, Team USA didn't qualify for the Olympics. in
No,
Tokyo.
that was the
Right.
goal. That was
Yeah.
the goal when Jim Tooley and Jay Demings asked me to come on board. The key
Yeah.
was we really want to qualify, and again we got lucky because Jimmer was still competitive, still still really good, and I really did have a feeling, Jimmer, that you would say yes. I just from
Yeah.
knowing what I knew about you, I had a feeling that it was right up your alley. It wasn't a
Right.
12-month commitment. You weren't going to be locked in a
Yeah.
hotel in Shanghai.
In China.
You know?
Yeah.
And you could still be with the family, a beautiful family. And they got to, hang out a little bit, come down to Colorado Springs when I saw him at the trials and stuff. But no, he honestly, Spencer, we couldn't have found a better poster boy for the sport. And now he's going to grow it, and it's going to be really cool. And Jimmer made the point, like, we just can't get 4 NBA players to play because the way the
Right.
rules are set up, you got to be committed to playing in events like, not necessarily 12 months a year, but you got to give up a lot. I'd say 10, 15 weekends is a spring, summer, and fall, Jimmer, right?
Yep, it is. It is. It's about 10, 15 weekends, and it's definitely worth it if you're out there. I'm still I'm still recruiting. So anybody hearing this that wants to come play, I'm always game to talk it out.
I'll bird dog
Yeah.
for you. I'll keep my eyes on
Appreciate
you.
that. Yeah, please do, Fran. You
I
got
thought-
everybody out there.
I thought the Hawes boys would play or be good at it. I even thought, I know
I asked Tyler.
Collingsworth would have been like the kid on Ubu's, the big strong kid.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Barach.
Yeah,
Yep.
Barbarach. Yeah, the guy that was on
Yep.
steroids, but that's another story.
He is. Yeah, that guy is a beast. If anybody saw that guy, you don't get more athletic later in life. It's unbelievable.
That's right,
This guy is
yeah.
incredible. This guy's incredible.
Don't
but
you,
yeah, he would
don't
have
you
been
think
great.
Kyle would have been don't you think Kyle would have been
Kyle
a good
would have been perfect for it because he can do everything, right? He can,
Right.
He can
Yeah.
pass. He's big. He can defend
Yeah.
multiple positions. He's just that guy that can do kind of everything. So he absolutely. I mean, I don't act like I haven't asked these guys. Like I asked the Hawes brothers. I asked all these. I'm like, hey, I'm in on everybody. But
hey, you don't want. Hey, just stay away from Taverneri. Just stay away from Taverneri. He's. You know what? He's kind of. Think about it. He's kind of the guys that you played against on the Brazilian team, right?
He is. He's a big. He's the big shooter. Yep.
Yep, and a cheap shot artist, you know.
Yeah, always.
I hope
JT, my guy.
He's
they
my
make
good
it
friend,
and
man.
they don't shut up either. It's
That's
incredible.
Exactly right. JT, he's the best.
I hope he hears this. He will.
He will. He'll hear it. He'll hear it. Don't worry. He'll hear it.
All right, Coach, this has been such an enjoyable 45 minutes. We typically finish out with a lightning round of sorts, some quick hitters.
Okay.
And so we're going to finish with those 3 or 4 questions and then let you get on your way. But the quick hitter questions start with this. What's the best win of your coaching career?
Oh, well, 1995, Manhattan College. We were lucky to get in the NCAA tournament because we had dominated the league that year in the MAC. And we actually got upset in the championship to St. Peter's, double overtime. We played well. Geez. They played a little better. And somehow we got an at-large bid. And with about a minute and a half to go, we're up like 14 on Oklahoma. And everybody said they don't deserve, Manhattan doesn't deserve to get in. And about a minute and a half to go, I looked at my bench, my players on the bench. I said, nobody celebrate until we get to the locker room. Don't jump around like a maniac. We were the better team tonight. And that Oklahoma team was coached by a good friend of mine, Kelvin Sampson. We became friends after that game, but that's probably the biggest win of my career. Manhattan upsetting Oklahoma in the NCAA tournament. The mayor of New York called me at the hotel, Rudy Giuliani, a Manhattan College guy. We were on the back page of the New York Post the next day. The back page was in green because it was St. Patty's Day. And we're green.
Let's go.
And the Jaspers are green.
Jaspers are green. Exactly. That was perfect green.
Yeah. So that was the biggest win.
Okay. All right. Next quick hitter here. We got most memorable game that you've ever called.
Ooh. Oh boy. I've done a bunch of them. I would say, do you guys remember AC Law from Texas A&M?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yes. I love that guy.
Was it the 4 overtime game?
Kevin Durant, AC Law, double overtime, Texas A&M, incredible rivalry. And those guys went shot for shot for like 50 minutes.
I remember watching that game.
It was crazy. Yeah. And my good friend and my mentor, Rick Barnes, who I work for at Providence, and he's still going strong. He's heading to the Hall of Fame soon. But I remember that summer before KD arrived, he goes, Coach Fran, I got the best player in the country. And I said, you mean you got the best freshman in the country? He goes, no, I might have the best player in the country. And he was right. It was Kevin Durant.
He was right. So, that guy's unbelievable.
Okay, question number 3. And you've visited a bunch, but what's your favorite basketball venue to visit?
It's got to be 1 and 1A, and I'll say this not because of you guys, but I love the Marriott Center. The pregame stuff is incredible. The fan base is great. The student body is incredible. They're not far behind Kansas and Iowa State. Mm-hmm. Kansas is the history of the game, right? They've only had 9 coaches, Dr. Naismith. There's something special. You guys know that. It's magical being in Allen Fieldhouse. And Iowa State, Hilton Coliseum, like Fred Hoiberg used to be the mayor. I'm the mayor of Ames now because when I say this humbly, when they got good with Fred Hoiberg coaching, George Niang, Monty Morris, I treated them like Kansas. Those fans haven't been used to winning all the time. And they just appreciated that I celebrated their team, their arena. And I saw them down 20, Buddy Hield in Oklahoma, number 1 in the country, went in there. They were up 22 with 17 to go and lost the lead. And Brent Musburg and I called the game. And with about 10 minutes to go, they cut it to like 13. And I remember saying, they still play it on Twitter, here they come, Brent. And Fred Hoiberg didn't even run plays the last 10 minutes. He gave it to Monty Morris and George Niang, and everybody got out of the way. I love those places.
That is the play right there. That is the play. And
exactly.
that's
Good coaching. Yeah, give
good
it to
coaching
Jimmer.
right there.
I'm sure.
That's right.
I'm sure Dave
Give it to
Rose.
Jimmer and get out of the way.
Let him go. Let him go. All right,
And you know
last
what?
quick hitter here.
Hey,
Yep, go ahead.
By the way, Jimmer knows this. Sometimes you don't even want a ball screen for a guy that good because it just brings two guys to the ball. Just get out of Jimmer's way and let him do his thing with
Let
that
it go.
step back from 30.
That's exactly right. All right, last quick hitter here, Coach. This is a good one. Most unique broadcast partner that you've called a game with.
Oh, it has to. Honestly, are you guys, Jimmer? Are you old enough to remember Brent Musburger?
Oh, we know Brent.
Absolutely.
We know Brent.
Absolutely.
I got a text from Brent in the middle of the game the other night in Ames. He was in Hawaii, and he's like, "Good job, laddie." I could hear him saying it too. "Good job, laddie. Great game." You guys know that the NFL today started in the late 70s with Brent Musburger and Jimmy the Greek. And when he used to say, "You are looking live at downtown Kansas City, home of the Big 12 final." Well, before ESPN, he would tell his gambling buddies in Las Vegas, "You are looking live at cold and snowy Soldier Field, where the Packers will invade the Bears today." And that meant his buddies in Vegas would bet the under because the field was in bad condition. Yeah.
He was giving up.
But Brent did the Doug Flutie game at Boston College, Gar-Hurd triple overtime, 1976 Suns Celtics, Catholics and Convicts, Notre Dame, Miami.
Yep.
Final Fours. That's there's nobody better than Brent Musburger. I love John Shambi. Bob Wischusen. But to work with Brent Musburger is like working with one of the presidents on Mount Rushmore.
Well
No
said.
question.
Brent, we appreciate your time. I mean that sincerely. So fun to just shoot the breeze with you and talk hoops and look at your career and then get into the current state of the game and beyond. We can't wait to see your new book. And we appreciate your perspective on balancing faith in God and how that guides you in your own path. And I think you probably don't get enough attention for that, but we appreciate what you bring in that regard to life as well.
I drop it in when I try to do it as much as possible because at the end of the day, when we meet our maker, he's not going to say to Jimmer, "You missed those couple shots in that San Diego State game." So you're not going to, you know what I mean? It's all, when you put everything in a heavenly perspective, we're so lucky to be in the playground of life, the three of us. So I always appreciate that. And even the hard times of coaching, it's always been with a plan. And he taught me, don't mess with Happy. I'm convinced
That's
that
right.
he told me, he was in my ear when I was about to get on that plane to Milwaukee to work for Tom Crean. "You really want to do this?" And I said, "No, I don't. God, Lord, I don't." And he said, "Okay, call Crean. Tell him you're not coming."
I love it.
And that's how it
I love
happened. That's my
how it
story. I'm
happened.
sticking to it.
Hey, a perfect bookend to this conversation.
right.
And again, can't wait to see your new book, hopefully in October, November. Just
Yep.
send us a copy, okay?
I'll do it, and you'll see me, Spence, in a couple weeks.
Let's go, my friend.
All right.
Great to
All
talk
right,
to
Jimmy,
you.
all the best, man. We'll get together for lunch soon. We'll talk some
Absolutely.
hoops.
Thanks,
Fran.
Fran.
I'll meet you at Big Bill's.
Big Bills, we get a slice. We'll see you later.
Got it.
Jimmer, how do you say no to that type of recruitment from that level of guy? Like, I don't blame you for saying, "Yes, I will play 3x3 basketball. What do you need me to do? When do you need me to do it? Let's go."
Yes, the guy, he is awesome. I love Fran, and he's definitely a recruiter. He knows how to talk. He talks about that. He's like, "I got the gift of gab," right? He learned that from New York City, understood, East Coast guy. But he loves basketball. Like I said, he loves basketball. He pitched 3x3 so well. The Olympics were involved. But obviously he had some really great 505 college basketball teams as well. Got some great coaching gigs to be in St. John's, New Mexico, some of these places that are high level places to compete. Obviously, people thought the same. So awesome to talk with Fran. I love reminiscing with him because I was with him for the last couple of years, and just happy to have him on.
We're going to get him on again, and we're going to call it Story Time with Fran because
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
Yes. He has so many stories out there that lately you just be like, "Hey, What do you think about this guy? And he'll just have a story for it. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, that's the type of guy Fran is.
Let's call a timeout. When we return, Jimmer and I open up the mailbag of listener questions and comments and open Jim. And yeah, we're going to tackle again why Jimmer had to scan tickets to get into his own jersey retirement. We are built from the logo, and the show rolls on after this.
Like when Grandma was baking cookies, and she'd let you lick the batter. It feels like a fluffy hug. Cookie dough.
What the puff? This thing has 15 grams of protein.
Grandma loved protein.
So, this is your stop.
Fluffy, chocolatey, and packed with protein. What the puff? Built Puff.
From the logo, Jimmer Fredette rolls on, and we now open up, as we always do at this part of the show, things to our listeners and viewers with your submitted questions from social media straight to us. Jimmer, I'm once again fully caffeinated. Woo!
I got my s'mores chunk here, man. You ever tried this one? That s'mores chunk is fire. It's got that little graham cracker in it. Oof. It is. It's my favorite. My favorite right now. But I gotta try some of the other ones they got over here coming up. So
Spylt flavor of the day is peanut butter chocolate. Jimmer, while you consume that delicious Built Puff, and we get into Open Gym, let's go ahead and start with a banger here. Our first comment in from YouTube, and who is it?
let's see. Who do we got here? Mike E.H. So I don't know if it's Mike H or so Mike H 702. Okay. Sorry about that, Mike H. Jimmer Fredette. At Jimmer Fredette. So many great memories. I should probably thank you for getting me out of my first speeding ticket. On our way. On our way down to the Vegas to watch the Mountain West Conference tournament that year as well. After getting pulled over near Beaver, if anyone knows where Beaver is, in my roommate's Canadian car with a kilometer / miles per hour speedometer.
Yep.
I truthfully had no idea how fast I was going when the UHP asked the classic question. He found out we were heading to the tournament. Mm-hmm. And after a few minutes of talking about the amazing year you were having, we were on our way with a warning. Go Cougars.
Let's go.
Mike H.
Yes, the patrolman gave him a go Cougs, bro.
He gave him a go Cougs. He said, let's go.
Yep.
He probably was like, you know what? Can I get in the car with you? I want to drive to the Mountain West Conference tournament. I want to come watch this game. I'm like, Mike, the way that you used that was perfect. You were able to get out of it. I appreciate you letting me know. No problem. You're so welcome. All right. I'm giving you my gratitude and just like, hey, great job. Love hearing that. And, maybe I have to try that one of these days.
How about a police escort down to the state line at least? To watch Jimmer. That was hilarious. Go. I didn't know that like there are Canadian specific cars that only have kilometers per hour as a speedometer. Like I didn't know that until I saw this post.
That's
hilarious.
Yeah, that's a lot of places outside of the US are like that, Spence.
It's true.
It's very true.
Somewhere the comedian Nate Bargatze is like, I have a thing or two to say about that.
That is
how
correct.
America is weird that way.
It's hilarious.
How many feet are in a mile? 5,280.
It's classic.
Of course.
It's classic.
Oh, the metric system needs more love within the United States of America. That's the power of Jimmer. Gets you out of a speeding ticket. Next time I get pulled over, I will go to the well of, hey, I host a podcast with Jimmer Fredette. Can I get a warning?
Try it. Try and see what happens. Report back.
All right. By the way, I need to compliment you on your ability to deliver that while you were eating food.
Yeah,
not easy.
Not easy. I Built bar, and I was, you threw the longest, comment of all time on From the Logo as I dove into my Built Puff. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man.
Chew through. Yeah. It's like, okay, how can I do this? How can I?
Unbelievable.
Our next entry is our built question/comment of the week, and also comes in from YouTube at Nick Barlow 9697 says, Spencer knows how I feel about this, and also how I feel about people who say irregardless. This is fantastic. Thank you for bringing out the bad grammar situation and the section of our podcast that is, unfortunately for Jimmer's sake, gaining more popularity. But irregardless, we'll do this another day. Like, I don't want to go there. I have one. I have one set up for today.
I know you do.
But irregardless is a painful word that is on my list. We will get there. I love the comments and the DMs that keep coming into the show accounts about the bad grammar section. Nick, my man, glad you appreciate some bad grammar.
I think I've said that before too. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, irregardless isn't a word?
That's not a word? I thought it was. What? Okay, whatever. We'll figure it out eventually. All right. This final one's from Podcast Review on Apple. Says, pretty dang awesome, 5 stars from BYU. LASF Jazz. Jazz, so I'm not sure how to say that, but I am only listening to a handful of podcasts, and this one has made the cut. Well, we appreciate that. It's so fun to learn about Jimmer, Spencer, and other athletes. I've only been offended once with Spence, okay, and his problem with the NYC Taco Bell. Taco Bell is always a good choice. Spence, what do you have against Taco Bell? I know they were in New York City. We talked about this. Do you have something against Taco Bell?
I don't have anything against Taco Bell as a general chain, but Jimmer, you, someone from New York who has such appreciation for fine cuisine and good New York City food, how can you settle on Taco Bell?
I know.
In Times Square.
It's just a classic story.
Walk 100 feet in any direction when you're standing in Times Square, and you will find way better food.
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
Hey, you know what? There's a lot of tourist traps in Times Square. I will say that. There's a lot of tourist traps in time. You got to go outside and find the real mom and pop. A lot of commercialization going on in Times Square. I understand that. But you know, I mean, what, a cheesy gordita crunch, a Crunchwrap Supreme, those are always good, no matter where you are. So I appreciate it.
Unless you get food poisoning from it, which my cohort at the time who decided to eat at Taco Bell did, and spent the night throwing up.
That's a tough look. You're right. That's a tough look. You're right. All right. So now the moment you've been waiting for, Jimmer.
Yes, need some extra caffeine for this moment. Here we go. It is time for Spencer's Grammar Pet Peeve of the Week.
Yeah, we need to get some type of music for this, right? Like, I know Hema's putting some music on for sure during the actual things, but I can't hear it right now. I need to hear it while we're live.
We are once again taking issue with a rather prominent social media and straight up just Hollywood personality of sorts. Okay. This time it is based, and I do so with love in my heart because I love this person and I love this music group. But what inspired this one is a song by Justin Timberlake that features NSYNC. I know that you like Justin. Didn't he give you your ESPY?
He did. Me and JT go way back to my sister's Miss Teen USA pageant. He was NSYNC was the musical outlet for my sister's Miss Teen USA. She won Miss Teen New York. She went to Miss Teen USA in Shreveport, Louisiana. When I was about 10 years old, and JT was there, and then again at the ESPYs.
Brother, okay, so this, and I want to make sure that I have all of my details in a row here, okay? Because I got to be accurate. If I'm going to take issue, got to be accurate. But in the song Paradise, which is a song I love, fantastic song. So excited that JT teamed up with his NSYNC compadres and they put out a new song. It's great. We jam out to it in our car. My wife and I are huge fans.
go.
And then I heard something in the lyrics, and I thought, oh no, what have you done? What have you done? I read you the lyrics, okay? And it says, I've been waiting forever, right here for this moment. Wait for it. Between you and I. Okay. Now you might think,
there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with that?
What's
between
the
you
deal?
and I? Isn't that correct?
Jimmer! It needs to be you and me. You and me. Okay? Like,
what if it doesn't rhyme?
The thing is, I thought that too. I'm like, okay, maybe it's a rhyme thing. There's no rhyme in play. There's no rhyme in play here. It would be totally fine with the proper grammar of you and me. Okay? Now, people are like, well, what is the difference between you and I and you
What
and
is
me?
the difference?
Spencer,
Yes,
why are you
I'm
making
asking.
such a big deal about this? Well, Jimmer, it's funny you ask, okay? And I screenshotted this so that I could explain it. Like, I typed out an explanation while I was sitting in my car because I know someone's going to ask. But the choice between you and I and you and me for Justin Timberlake and NSYNC, it depends on whether the phrase, okay, the phrase of you and I or you and me is acting as the subject, meaning, okay, let me explain. We're having a grammar lesson here. This is English 101 with Spencer, okay? There is a removal test, okay? So, take for example, Jimmer, if you're like, should I say you and I are going to the store or you and me are going to the store? All you have to do is say, is it me am going to the store or I am going to the store? You answer, Jimmer. Which is it?
I am going to the store.
So it's you and I are going to the store. You are doing an action. You and I are doing an action.
Wow,
okay?
Interesting. Yeah.
Now, you and me, however,
okay,
it needs to be if you and another person are receiving the action,
okay,
or follow a preposition. So here's the other removal test. She gave the gift to you and what? Is it she gave the gift to you and I, or she gave the gift to you and me? Okay, here's the removal. If you can say she gave the gift to me compared to she gave the gift to I, does that make sense?
It doesn't.
No.
Wow.
She
Wow,
gave the
Spencer.
gift to me. Therefore, it is you and me. So we go back to the song, Jimmer. Okay.
Wow.
I love this song. I've been waiting forever, right here for this moment. Okay. The moment you and me are receiving the moment. Okay. You are not the action. So right here for this moment, between you and me, like it would fix the song immediately.
Wow. This was a legit grammar lesson right here. This, like, I learned something today. I'm not gonna lie. I absolutely learned something today. I hope our listeners learned something today because I did not know that little tidbit right there. I appreciate it. Also, who cares, Spencer? Who cares? My goodness gracious. Unbelievable.
Most people don't. Most people don't and are not thinking about it, but I kid you not, the first time I heard the song, I was like, what have you done? What have you done?
Yeah,
this
you did.
perfect, awesome song just changed I to me and we're good. But now every time I listen to it, and probably every time everyone else listens to that song now, if you listen to this podcast, you'll be thinking about that. So you're either welcome or I'm sorry, but I've probably changed that song forever.
Yes, you did. That's all right, though. Hey, thank you for the grammar. We appreciate it. Thanks, Spencer.
Jimmer, we are building again. We are building great speakers of the English language on this podcast. If you would like to submit questions for me, Jimmer, or guests on the next show, follow us on all of our social media platforms at JimmerFTL on YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok. Rate and review the podcast. We'll take 5 stars anytime you like it. We got great swag coming soon, and we'll give away some to our 5-star reviewers, Jimmer. How about that?
Let's go. That's a big incentive. You don't know what's coming because we got some gear.
3x3 update is up next when From the Logo with Jimmer Fredette, powered by Spylt, continues.
The saying goes, you shouldn't cry over spilled milk. But what if the milk you spill is spilt milk? Your favorite treat ruined by your clumsiness. And now those 20 delicious grams of day-powering protein and that perfect boost of caffeine are everywhere but where they should be. Your mouth. So cry over your spilt, turn on your sad sprinklers, then stand tall and buy a fresh spilt at a retailer near you. Spylt, milk worth crying over.
From the logo into the final quarter with our USA Basketball 3x3 update presented by Wilner and O'Reilly. Pretty simple. Just call Kelly at Wilner and O'Reilly, an immigration law expert and friend of the show. WilnerO'Reilly.com. GM Jimmer, the managing director of USA 3x3 Basketball, has the latest on the drive to gold in 2028 from his teams across the globe, plus anything else he wants to talk about to get you more acclimated with a wildly, quickly, popular, growing, terrible English right there, Spencer, but it's growing quickly, sport in the globe. All right, Jimmer, what do you have for us today in 3x3 basketball?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the free throws. Okay, now we've talked about the free throw and how that we kind of play off of it, right? Like it's continuous play. You just go right on. So we talk a little bit about that. I want to talk about the actual free throw itself, shooting the free throw. Okay, it's interesting because generally speaking, in 5-on-5 basketball, you're indoor. Free throws are, supposed to be made, right? They're absolutely supposed to be made. And they are something that people can do at a 90% clip sometimes even higher. If you're a really good free throw shooter, it's not uncommon to be over 80%, like have several guys that can shoot that. In 3x3 basketball, it is pretty uncommon for someone to be over 80 to 85% free throw shooting.
Why?
And because of the variance of the free throw. So the reason being is because the wind, the sun, the backboard, the level of the court, all of these things are all in play when you're shooting free throws. There are some times where the court is like a little bit tilted, right? Because you're not on an extremely flat surface. They don't always put down like a platform underneath it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So all of a sudden you're shooting like this, and your muscle memory of shooting a free throw and doing it so many times does not work because it is this much higher than it normally is, right? And there it is again. Okay, it's that much higher. The dramatic effect. It's that much higher, right? So because of that, you could miss short just because of that little aspect, or the wind could kick up as you're shooting a free throw, and all of a sudden you good, and all of a sudden it just pushes it to the right, or it stops it, or the sun is right behind the rim, and you can't even see. Basically, when you're shooting a free throw. So you're hoping that it hits rim and it goes in. There's a lot of variances. So because of that, there are guys that if you're shooting over 70% from the free throw line, you're shooting very well. Let's put it that way. The other thing is this. There are some guys that actually change up their free throw form or change up their shot. There are guys that bank it. There are guys like Canyon Barry who shoot it underhand.
Like his dad or his grandpa, I guess.
Yep. There's guys that like literally try to use the arc and don't shoot it very high. They kind of shoot it very flat, to make those shots because of all these variances. It's a little thing, but it's weird. And it's something that I shot my first couple free throws and I was like, whoa, this is way different than shooting inside. You don't think about it, but they can be very important. So if you have a guy that can shoot free throws and make them on a high level, like a Canyon Barry did with his underhand free throws, and I was fairly good at them, even though, obviously I didn't shoot a lot of free throws in 3x3. But if you have a guy that can stick free throws, that's an important thing because that's a lot of points that you can get. But it is much harder to shoot free throws in 3x3.
Wow. Yes, if someone says like, oh, it's windy out here today, so shots are going to be all over the place, you understand that. But just the little variations that are evident in every one of those games, like something I would not have thought about. Out of curiosity, how well did you shoot free throws in 3x3
I think I was
basketball?
in the 80s. I think I was in the 80s percentage. So I was one of the higher ones in the FIBA 3x3 basketball. I was towards the top.
Shocker, you were a good shooter.
I was a good free throw shooter. Yes. And, but I did miss way more than I normally would. I will say that.
Okay.
I missed more than I normally would, just because, sometimes you get in there and it's like, man, things are a little bit off. It just doesn't feel right. It's weird. But it's the way that works.
Jimmer, great stuff as always. Another fun, loaded episode. Now the floor is yours for a final thought.
Yeah, thanks so much to Fran Fraschilla for jumping on with us. He was so great, had so much fun. Appreciate you all and all the support that we're getting, the comments that we're getting, the questions. It's all just great. We're getting such great response to this podcast. We love doing it. Continue to rate, subscribe, follow us on all of our socials, continue to comment, and we appreciate y'all. Let's see you next week.
Don't forget to scan those tickets. That's a reminder for you, Jimmer, and me, not I. We are built for more. So shoot your shot in life. We'll see you next time.